Welcome, Warriors, back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. Hope you guys doing well. And I appreciate all the comments and all the subscriptions. And we're moving up. We're over 200 now, and that's wonderful. We'll keep it going. I do have a lot of people that are viewing it. They're non-subscribers, so please, if you like this, please let us know. And if you like the channel, if you think there should be different things on the channel, we've just started this. I started this in August, so I'm just trying to kind of feel my way through. We're doing different things like book reviews and characters and different things that we think that should have masculine and feminine frames, and some of the old types of attitudes that we've had coming back to that we need in our society that we've kind of lost. And so that's kind of the purpose of the channel at this point. We have a lot of younger people viewing, so please, I'm not as caught up with some of the things happening with a lot of the younger generations, so please let me know if there's things that you want me to research, look into. I do teach college students and high school students, and so I do a lot of that, and I actually do a lot of tutoring and consulting, so I do a lot of things with different types of people, so I get some ideas, but it's great to see things that are talked about in my classroom and other things as well. So we're going to talk about a topic on this one. The last one was on one of the 10 Commandments, but we're going to shift a little bit on a topic that I saw. I think it might have been a discussion we had before, or and recently, and it's called Never Say Never. And what do we mean by this? Well, let's kind of focus on the idea of never, almost like the word always. These are high general terms that people use to say, okay, this is going to happen forever. Okay, and so the word never is something that you should really kind of get out of your vocabulary. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, if you say, I can never achieve this, you're setting yourself up for a self-fulfilling expectation that you're never going to make money or get a six-pack of abs or be successful, abundant in things. You're never going to get to that point, right? And if you say, I'm never going to go ahead and release, well, you're kind of setting yourself up for a unrealistic type of thing. Now, that may be the goal long term, but the idea is that you can never say never. You're going to have to work at this every day on your journey, because you never know when you're going to be tempted. You never know when the devil's going to come into your life. Evil spirits are going to come into your life and basically say, it's time, Ed, time to go and, release, or time to do this. And you're going to have to be diligent. And so the idea of never can say never really means that you have to be diligent at all times. And you don't want to create a situation that you cannot achieve positive goals. The biggest problem people have is the difference between hope and despair. I remember some kind of story, and maybe it was just a parable of some sort, and I don't remember where this is at, but the devil was sitting there talking, and someone's talking to the devil, saying, maybe it was God talking to the devil, and the devil's basically saying that, I have all these cards on the table, and I can pick all these diseases and people have, and Satan took one of the cards and said, this is the card that I need. And it turned it over, and it was really the card of despair. The biggest issue, guys, people have, and the reason Satan said that was because he said that if I can get you to get despaired or depressed or doubting or losing, your way, then I can get you to be tempted to anything else, and all the other stuff will fall in place. And that's really a very accurate and correct statement. Our biggest issue, guys, is whether we're going to have hope or despair, hope or doubt. hope or fear, right? And faith or fear. And that's really what we have. And I always go back to Emerson's quote about the course of life is nothing but to teach us faith. And that means what you're doing is everything you're going through, everything you're doing is kind of based on the idea of growing in faith, growing in belief that you have a purpose, that things are happening in a way that are positive, and things are going to happen well for you in the future. Now, there's lots of times in your life that, it doesn't look that way. It's easy if some things start going bad that all of a sudden this cloud of despair, I call it, or being upset or depressed, comes to the forefront and it takes you over. It's almost like a cloud. It also just attacks you. And this I believe is an evil spirit. It's coming on you saying, look, I have some weakness here. Something's happened to you bad. Sometimes it's 2 things in a row, right? Something hits you. And you're in a battle, guys. And this goes back to the idea about being in a battle. You're going to take a shot, right? Or a boxing match. You're going to take a hit. You're going to take some sort of hit. And all of a sudden, now you're open for another attack. And you're going to take another hit. And this is why you have to have the shield of your faith, of your protection, knowing that you're doing the right thing, having a confidence level that you can continue onwards. That's really what this is all about. It's got very little to do with temporal things that happen day in, day out. Whether it's the money you make today, whether it's the success you've had on your job today, your relationship success today, whatever it may be, those are temporal passing things. The key thing in the long run is the fact that you have faith or you have doubt and fear. Those are the only 2 things that really focus on the day. And a lot of us don't realize that's the case. Now, it took me many, many years to get to this point, which is why I'm kind of sharing my thoughts and ideas on this. But guys, this is the whole key to this. This is what makes a warrior strong. This is what makes a warrior go in and decide, I'm going to take this chance. I know things will work out well in the long run, so I don't have a fear. I don't fear any man. I don't fear any situation. I don't fear anything like this, right? I don't fear any type of situation like that. It really comes down to fearing or hoping. And when we talk about never can say never, you have to go ahead and say, look I know there's temptation out there. Realize that there is the evil spirit. Now, I know this is a long stretch, a long thinking process for some people, and it was for me. But the bottom line is that if there's good things happening out there, there has to be bad things happening too. You cannot see the light without going through the darkness. It's the old saying that I think is very apropos. You cannot go through light and know light unless you see dark. You can't see black unless you see white, right? You have to have the contrast to see both. And that's why a lot of people who never experience darkness or failure, they struggle. Because if they've been spoiled and everything is given to them, they have not experienced those negative things enough to become a strong person. Now, in my case, it was kind of the other way around over the years. But when you experience those things, you become stronger because you know that somewhere at the end of that tunnel, there's light. And as long as you keep, in some ways, for many years, hanging on, right? Now it's a little better, I think, because of retention. And the strength I have is better. But it actually goes back again to the same old philosophy that you've got to have that hope and confidence and that faith. And I know I'm going to my Creator through my process here. And I'm getting closer all the time. Now, the day of my last day, who knows what that is. But I do know that I'm on the right path. Because going through retention, going through celibacy, I understand now how important it is to be close to your Creator. Things happen that are just not by ironic types of coincidences. These things happen for a reason, and if you get closer to your Lord and God, I believe that things will happen to you in a positive way because you're trying to do well. Now, do we all make mistakes? Of course we do. I talked about that in the last one, in using profanity sometimes when you shouldn't be. Right? We all make mistakes. But the bottom line is that God understands that, and He's going to have mercy on us and try to give us, and He saved us for this reason. He, basically took all our sins, right? But the bottom line is you have to recognize those things and work on those. And the more you work on those things, the less you're going to have faith, fear, and doubt. You're going to have more about having hope and confidence and faith. So the less you're able to have all these problems, and I remember Benjamin Franklin did this. He was able to write a list down, which is why he became such a great person. He wrote a list down every day of his faults, and he battled these faults day in and day out. And those things sometimes take time, but they actually focus on working on doing this, And I think what you got to do is you got to realize that you are in a battle every day with things and faults and things that you do. And I think the sins are on the top of that list. Those 10 commandments are right there. And when you're looking at those type of things, you're looking at trying to say, okay, I'm going to try to overcome these, and I'm going to fight these battles every day until the last day you're here. And I think those are the things to consider and to work on. So we go back, guys, and say never can say never. You have to keep working every day in your journey, one day at a time, one step at a time. Continue working on getting better. Be like Benjamin Franklin and work on trying to eliminate your problems and your faults one at a time, one day at a time. All right, guys, until next time, battle on.